Hi everyone, it's Mike here. Thanks for joining me. Today I am participating in a swap hop. Now, my good friend Eva LeVay from Eva LeVay Arts thought it would be a good idea for a group of us to get together and send each other a little parcel of ephemera. So 11 of us all got together and we decided to pair up, but if you do the math then you'll know that 2 doesn't go into 11. So I'm pairing up with Amy Rhodes and Hanny Tromp. So we've got a three-way swap hop going on. So I've sent a parcel of goodies to Amy. Amy sent a parcel of goodies to Hanny, and Hanny has sent me a parcel full of goodies. So from this parcel we're supposed to pick out 5 items and then produce an art journal page, a canvas or a project of our choice. And then the joy is that you don't know what you're going to get until you open the parcel. So you literally, it's a surprise. So, and it's nobody knows what they're going to do, and I don't know what Amy's done with mine, and Hanny doesn't know what I'm going to do with hers, and I'm sure it's the same all the way across the board. So it's going to be a bit of fun. So what I've done is I've also listed in the description area below all the other pairs that are playing along in this little swap hop. So I'll now show you what Hanny sent me. So this is the package that Hanny sent me. Now, as I said before, the original idea was to only send 5 items to each other, but it looks as though Hanny got a little bit carried away and sent me rather a lot of stuff to play with. So amongst other things, there's a set of stamps, there's some fantastic money napkins, a ton of napkins. She obviously knows that I love using napkins in my work, and there's such a beautiful selection of napkins. Now obviously I'm only going to choose one from this selection to use. So out of all this I'm only allowed to take 5 items to do a page with. Which is going to be a real difficult job really. There's so much beautiful stuff that she sent me. Some beautiful, I mean look at that. Just look at that, how stunning is that? And it's a real photo too. It's a proper real cabinet card, and I'm loath to do anything with that. I may just keep that safe and put that, oh, and there's another €100 napkin. At first I thought she'd sent me money, but obviously I'm not that lucky. Okay, so we've got a bag of what looks like inch mosaic tiles. Thinking. Okay, there's some paper beads. Now, Hanny, I have to admit, when I first opened the envelope, my mum was staying with me, and I'm afraid Mum stole some. She's actually borrowed 2 because she had a need for them, and she loved them, so I allowed her to take 2. I hope you don't mind. And in there's also some jelly prints. There's some beautiful. This is trying to get in. Obviously, I have looked through the contents of this previously. Anyway, there's some vellum where Hanny's created some like paper roses. So I might just use those because they are absolutely stunning with the background. And a little card, a little private card from Hanny in there, and lots and lots of old magazine bits, which are just great because they're all in Dutch. Absolutely fantastic. All in Dutch. Paul McCartney. Yeah, I'm not going to use him. Right, okay, so we've got maps, we've got really old magazine papers, and I can't see a date on these, but they are so beautifully foxed that they're just stunning. I mean, look at that beautiful natural foxing around the outside. It's just absolutely beautiful. And again, all sorts of, I have no idea what that is. It looks like a piece of, well, it's from a notebook, but it's all written in Dutch, so I have no idea what it is. It could be a shopping list for all I know. Beautiful. Absolutely, actually, it looks a little bit French. Nous avons... Well, I'll have to have a look. I think it is French, actually. Not Dutch. There you go. Look, I'm getting distracted. It's all such beautiful stuff. I look at that. I love the tree down that side. I'm beginning to get an idea. So I think... that looks German. I know my languages aren't all that good, so I've got French, Dutch, and I think a little bit of German in there too. That's definitely Dutch. Yep, that's definitely Dutch. And look, look at that. An untouched crossword from God knows when. Beautiful. Oh, 1939. Look at that. That's 1939. So that would be November 1939. So had war already been declared? Wow. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have to get some of these translated so I know what they say, because until I know what it actually says, I'm loath to cut it up. And again, I have no idea what date this is from, but probably from around about the same time. Maybe because we have some military, mind you, saying that. Could be. Right, I think I have an idea. So I'm going to choose just 5 items from all this. So I will cogitate for a few minutes and then I'm going to be right back and I'll show you what I've chosen. So I've gone through and I've chosen my 5 items. So I've chosen the little punched out paper flowers with the little pearls in the middle in the blue. These 2 were together, so I'm counting those as 1. These little paper flowers that Hanny has created so beautifully. And I've chosen this napkin because I just adore the colours. I've chosen this page from the book because I just love this branch tree kind of thing, which I'm going to team up with that. And a print that Hanny has done, which I think is just absolutely beautiful. So my decision for choosing these items was primarily because of the colour match. So as you can see, the colours all kind of match together. So there's a beautiful sort of colour tone, but there are highlights of blue in there. So I think these are going to make a stunning page. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing. So I'm going to be working in my small Dilutions journal, and I'm just taking that print that Hanny did and marking it down so I know exactly the size, so I can cut it down so it fits across the full double page spread. And then I'm going to glue it across the full double page spread with the Mod Podge. Now if the camera goes in and out of focus, it's because it's trying to focus on that brush because it's such a tall one. That's the only reason I've discovered, so I know not to do that in future. And for those that are interested, I have speeded this up to 4 times its normal length. So it would have taken me about, well, just over an hour to produce. So that's a bit too long to do a video, so I have sped it up to 4 times. And now I'm taking this beautiful autumnal style napkin that Hanny sent, and she has already pre-removed the extra plies from the back, so thank you Hanny for that, because it is a bit of a fiddly task to do. And I'm just randomly cutting, well not randomly, I'm just roughly cutting around the edges of those shapes on the leaves, so I don't use the whole of the napkin, so I have another half to use at a later date. And when you're gluing down napkins, just be very, very careful when you're brushing the glue over the top. Because the napkin is so very, very thin, it's less than wafer thin, it is extremely delicate, and you can theoretically pull and actually destroy the napkin as you're putting the glue on. So you will see this actually happen in a little while. But just be very, very careful and only apply very, very light strokes. Now if you look at the centre crease at the bottom, you'll see that it is starting to degrade just where the brush is, so I am just going to blend that out with my finger just to smooth the lines a little bit. So now I'm taking that fantastic book page that Hanny sent, and I'm just roughly tearing out the tree shape, and I will take off the edges and just some of the detail, and then I'm just going to glue that down on the right hand side of that page. Now I'm going to take the rest of the page and tear that into segments and then stick that down across the left hand side of the page to balance it out. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love the smell of old paper. It's not a perverted thing, it's just one of those things. I would never own a Kindle or any kind of book reader because you can't beat the smell of the pages of a book, particularly an old one. It's just, perhaps I'm just old-fashioned, I don't know. So I'm just positioning the torn pieces of the book on the text in places around the page where it just looks as though actually they're bleeding through from behind when actually it's the exact opposite. So you could imagine that actually there are holes in the top paper bleeding through or looking onto the text of the paper underneath. So now I'm just going to cut round 3 of these lovely circles that Hanny's created with paint on this. It feels like vellum, but possibly is deli paper, and I just love the colours, I love the styles, and they just go so well with this page. So I'm just going to cut 3 of those out and be very, very careful to preserve the shapes of the circles, not cutting in too much, and then I'm going to just stick those down loosely with white glue. Before I do, I'm just going to position the other 3 flowers that I want to use around the page so I know roughly whereabouts they're going to go. So the glue I'm using here is just bog standard everyday white PVA craft glue. It's nothing special, and all I'm doing is just putting a blob under each one because I want the corners to lift up. I don't want them to be completely flat and textureless against the background. I actually want a little bit of dimension. So now I'm just going to team up those lovely blue flowers onto the deli paper circles. I have repositioned the little pearls that were stuck in the middle because some of them had moved a little bit in transit. So I'm just repositioning that last one there and then just going to stick that down onto that deli paper. There we go. So now that the majority of the work is done on that page, I am going to remove the page protectors as you've seen there, and I will also trim off the excess tissue paper around the outside. And now I'm taking out some titanium white, just mixing that with a little bit of water, and then with my fan brush I'm just going to add some splatters. And now it's time just to add a little bit of shadow and a little bit of depth and dimension. So I'm using my Stabilo Black All Aquarelle pencil, and I'm just adding some of that colour to the right hand edges and undersides of the items, and I'm going to activate that with a water brush. So just going around and activating that colour and just blending it out so there's a little bit of depth, a little bit of shadow under each of those items. So almost near the end now, and so I'm going to add a quote that I printed off from my computer. I didn't want to ruin this with my own handwriting, and I was trying to work out what I was going to put for a saying on this page, and I was racking my brains thinking, well, what's going to go, what can I put? And then I started thinking about Hanny. Now Hanny is a lovely lady. She's very, very talented, but she has been poorly recently, and I know she's going through a bit of a bad time at the moment, and I haven't known her that long, but all the dealings that I've had with her through Facebook and through YouTube, through the collaborations that we've done, the hops that we've done together, she always manages to make me smile, even when she's not been feeling very well. And you know, she has her own problems, and she doesn't really play on it. She literally just gets on with life, and she is a real inspiration. And you know, I have utmost admiration for her, because you know, she's a trooper, is our Hanny. And so I wanted to dedicate this page to her, because obviously she sent me the stuff, but also the saying really is dedicated to her as well, because that's exactly how I feel about her. So thank you, Hanny, for sending me all this beautiful stuff, and I hope you do feel a lot better very, very soon. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little art journal page that I put together with all those goodies that Hanny sent me. I've now got a big stack of stuff to play with as well, because there was a lot left over. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. But don't forget, go and have a look at everybody else's. I'm sure there'll be something there which will inspire, amaze and delight. So that's all from me. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now. It's Mike here. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We've got together, or I've got together, or we've all got together now. Joining me today. Now, of ephemera. Now, and then what we were going to do is something or other on the lines of whatever.